context. The aim of this course that we see is to provide an inclusive platform and space for you, our participants, to strengthen your ability to lead purposefully and effectively while analyzing, managing, and hopefully also resolving conflicts, some minor or also some larger one possibly in the future. And there are no right answers. There's no solutions. The frameworks within which we're working are constantly changing and adapting, and the crises are emerging as we speak. Hence, the course and the sessions have been designed to be interactive, and we intend to want it to be interactive. But in this case, we really have focused on having a conversation, the collective brainstorming, as I mentioned, as Charles, our mentor, has kind of coined it. So we want to focus on how can we or you as leaders strengthen your leadership for peace. Also, when many of the parameters that are conditioning the issues, the context, and the leadership requirements when they're going through these fundamental changes that we are seeing. So we are absolutely delighted to have co-designed this pilot course with our fantastic colleagues and partners at the Foundation for European Future. So allow me to express our deep appreciation for an excellent, enriching and enjoyable partnership collaboration with the FIF team. Both GCSP and the Foundation are very, very thankful also, as I mentioned in the beginning, as we were leading up to this meeting, to our embassies, both in Tbilisi and here in Geneva, for actively taking part and for supporting this overall effort. And of course, first and foremost, the participants, all carefully selected. Your experiences and your personal learning objectives are at the center of this course. And to accompany you on this journey, this learning journey of this week, we are very pleased to have a group of excellent mentors, speakers, policymakers, trainers to support you. So I want to thank each and every one of you participants and speakers for contributing to this, what we believe is a very important endeavor in the next few days. So having said all that, there would be no course at all if it were not for the keynote speakers this morning, them and their organization that are now to follow. So without further ado, it is my very great pleasure and honor to introduce to you the first opening speaker, Ambassador Christian Doucet, who's the director of the Geneva Centre for Security Policy. Ambassador, over to you.
Thank you very much, Annika. Dear participants, Your Excellencies, dear friends, good morning. And welcome to this course from Switzerland and from the virtual Maison de la Paix, House of Peace, that you can see on my background. I'm very delighted to be with you this morning. And we are also here, all of us, seeking to deal with the impact of the pandemic. And this virtual pilot course is an example of our commitment to continue our endeavors to strengthen peace and security by adapting our processes to this new and very special environment. The course has been developed through an innovative collaboration between the GCSP and the Foundation for European Future, with the support and in cooperation with the Swiss Embassy in Georgia and the Mission of Georgia in Geneva. At the political and policy level, the Geneva International Discussions, the GID, are currently the main mechanism for advancing the diplomatic dialogue in support of a peaceful resolution of the conflicts in Georgia, providing a natural close link between Georgia and Switzerland. The aim of this pilot course is focused on the capacity building dimension in support of mechanisms for resolving conflict and building peace. The GCSP is hosting some 80 courses a year with participants from 167 countries on a range of issues dealing with peace and security. So my colleagues and I are very pleased to contribute to this important undertaking and effort of our Georgian partners. I'm also very pleased that the Ambassador of Switzerland to Georgia, His Excellency Patrick Franzen, and the ambassador of Georgia to the United Nations in Geneva, His Excellency Alexander Maizuradze, are actively involved in the program, with the graduation ceremony being held at the Swiss residence at the conclusion of the course. But most of all, I would like to recognize that the Deputy Minister Lasha Darsalia, Ambassador Franzen, and Ambassador Maizuradze are all three GCSP alumni. They are concrete examples of the role and relevance of the GCSP global alumni community long after a course has ended. So the present course, dear participants, is an important but only a first step in the building of networks between us at GCSP and you, the participants, but also, and not least, between yourselves and the other 9,000 members of the GCSP alumni community. They are all current and emerging impactful leaders, and they build a strong and very relevant community. So I wish you all a fruitful, relevant, challenging at some times, and useful courses. I wish you all a great day. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for those words. And now I have the privilege to hand over the word to the founder of the Foundation for European Future. This is Tiona Telia, who will take my place.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Your Excellencies, Ambassador Tisse, Ambassador Franzen, Minister Darsalia, dear speakers, and participants of the course. It's a great honor to speak today on behalf of the Foundation for European Future. I cannot be together with the participants due to the unfortunate circumstances caused by the pandemic. However, I do hope to meet you all personally in the nearest future. First of all, I would like to congratulate personally all the chosen candidates to this pilot course. You all were selected for your large and very interesting background, your interest in peace building, and above all, your love for your country. Your desire to understand better the issues and try to find the keys to create solutions and build a better, more peaceful future for Georgia makes you the perfect participant. As you might all know, our organization is very young with very ambitious goals. When founding the FEF, I wanted to bring a small contribution to the path of Georgia to achieve its European calling, to regain its place in the community of European nations. I'm convinced that this path passes through the promotion of values that underpin the European project: democracy, the rule of law, the protection of human rights, and peace. In my list of values, peace was mentioned at the end. Do not believe I placed as least important. I strongly share the Georgian sentiment for the importance of peace. Maybe we, Georgians, appreciate the peace more than any other nation. Our history past was through wars, permanent struggle for peaceful development and life. And in 2008, Georgia faced one more war with more loss of lives and destruction, continued acts of aggression, and grave violation of human rights. If you ask me what I dream of, I would say I dream of sustainable peace in Georgia, the kind of peace that won't disappear at next election cycle, the kind of peace that is not measured in months or years, but in generations, in centuries. Some might say that this kind of peace is impossible. Being Swiss citizen, I say that it is not. I look at Switzerland that was able to maintain peace over 2 centuries. To me, the secret of sustainable peace lays in strong and educated society. We Georgians need to be prepared and open-minded to the opportunities that we might have towards the peaceful resolution of conflicts. Readiness and open mind can only be acquired by good education. Each participant of this course, equipped with a powerful weapon of knowledge acquired during this course, can play a major role in peace building in Georgia. I believe this course will be a success and become a tradition for FEF and GCSP. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity and thank GCSP for bringing their vast experience in Georgia. It's the first time GCSP conducts a course in Georgia, which is a great honor for us. Ambassador Duce, I would like to thank you personally to believe in our young organization and make this course possible. And last but not least, I would like to thank an excellent team of GCSP for all their hard work and support daily. And in particular, Annika, Deborah, Radostina, thank you. I wish we will collaborate for many years together, and this pilot course will be only the first of a long series. And to all candidates, I wish you all a very interesting and fruitful 5 days course. Armatebevski Surabt, Madlot. Thank you.
Oops. Almost seamless. Thank you very much. Of course, wonderful to hear from the founder of the new foundation, which is a very promising endeavor indeed, Ms. Telia. Thank you very much. And now it is my also equal privilege and pleasure to introduce the next speaker, the next keynote, which is the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Georgia, Mr. Lasha Darsalia. The word is yours.
Thank you, Madam Norberg. Thank you very much. I want to welcome the participants of this course, and particularly I want to welcome the distinguished keynote speakers, Ambassador Duciem, Ambassador Franzen, Madam Telia. I'm really glad to be here today with you, and it's a great honor for me to be here. I myself, being, as already mentioned by Ambassador Duciem, alumni of GCSP, I highly value the experience I gained from GCSP, and I'm sure that the experience the participants will gain today during this course or in the future courses will be great value added for them in their future career. So I want to express my high appreciation for the organizers organizing this very important course, which is very important not only for participants, but for us as well as a country, because it's very important that we have highly experienced and well-trained professionals in all fields, and particularly in the field of conflict resolution and peace building. That's very important for us. And in this regard, I want from myself to stress that the government of Georgia, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Georgia, as representing Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Georgia, we express our readiness to cooperate in future with GCSP as well as with the Foundation for the European Future in this regard. Unfortunately, as we all know, the recent history of Georgia is marked with unresolved conflict, occupied territories, and tension on the ethnic basis. So only thing we have in our arsenal is not the weapons or military and the other means, but it's the peaceful means which requires highly trained and well-prepared professionals. So in this regard, I'm really glad that such courses are conducted in Georgia, and I really welcome as many of such courses will be organized in Georgia as possible. So as I mentioned, for us, it's very important that we have well-trained, well-experienced, and and equipped with big knowledge professionals, and from our side to attract them in conflict resolution policy building. And in this regard, I welcome again such courses. Very briefly, I just want to highlight where Georgia is at the moment when dealing with the conflicts and occupation. Unfortunately, as you know, we have the 20% of our territory under the effective control and occupation of the Russian Federation, and the consequence of which is quite severe and grave humanitarian situation on the ground. A big number of population of these territories, nearly 60–70% of population, cannot return to their homes as a consequence of this conflict. And unfortunately, we have the process for last 12 years, as already mentioned. We have the different frameworks of negotiations, which slowly progresses and without significant results at the moment. But we believe that at some level, with the support and help of the international community, we will be able to achieve the significant breakthrough in conflict resolution process. In this regard, one of the key frameworks of such negotiation is Geneva international discussions, and I'm glad that it happens in Geneva. And in this regard, I also, generally in conflict resolution process, I want to highlight the role of Switzerland and government of Switzerland we have, and we highly appreciate the support and involvement and engagement of Swiss government in these processes. Generally saying, our peace policy has the two key directions, key dimensions, I would say even. First is the deoccupation, which actually is how to deal with the Russian military presence and effective control on the occupied territories, how to deal with this issue. And second, as a number, but not less important, I would highlight, is the engagement with the population who still live on the occupied territories. These are two equally important dimensions of Georgia's peace policy, and this is foundation of all the policies government of Georgia conducts in this regard. So first dimension, but mostly the second especially requires well thought and well prepared steps for the conflict resolution, and well prepared policy for engagement and conflict resolution. So in this regard, Georgia requires really a strong experience and expertise in this field, and this is one of the key directions of the government of Georgia, to raise awareness on the one hand and raise the expertise in this field. Last but not least, I would say that one of the key issues when we talk about the conflict resolution is one thing is the expertise, the other thing is what the government of Georgia or policy, or what are the policies, but it's also very important public-private cooperation between the state and non-state actors. And in this regard, I'm really glad that we really experience and enjoy quite a big involvement of civil society in Georgia in the conflict resolution processes. And I'm very glad that young professionals are also interested in this. And I'm very glad that organizations like FIFI are interested to attract more young professionals in this. And in this regard, one more time, I want to thank the government of Switzerland. I want to thank the GCSP, not only taking Georgians to Switzerland, but taking GCSP to Georgia as well. And maybe so far virtually, but I hope at some point physically as well. So I'm very glad again to be here and wish you a successful week, wish you successful training, and want one more time to thank all the organizers for this important experience our young experts will gain within this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister, for those words. This is a very good start on our week, so thank you very, very much for that and for taking the time to join us. Now it is my pleasure and honor also to introduce the Ambassador of Switzerland to Georgia, Patrick Franzén. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, dear Director of GCSP, dear Christian, dear Chair of the Foundation for European Future, dear Teona, dear Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, dear Lasha, dear course director, dear Annika, dear participants, first, let me thank the organizers, GCSP and the Foundation for the Future for the initiative to hold this important and timely course. As mentioned, as GCSP alumni, I'm especially delighted and happy to actively support such activities. And my embassy tries to further develop and intensify the GCSP network in Tbilisi with the Georgian alumni. And I'm sure there is a further potential to develop. Probably, as some of you already know, Switzerland has a solid track record in the South Caucasus with its engagement in conflict transformation. I just give you a couple of examples. We were among the first to deliver humanitarian aid to all sides of the conflict zones in the 90s. We actively participated in the UNOMIC, for example, with Swiss peacekeepers. Unfortunately, though, we lost tragically an officer of our armed forces during a helicopter patrol flight in Kodori Valley in October 2001. In the framework of UNOMIC, I would also like to mention that Swiss diplomat Heidi Tagliavini was heading the UNOMIC mission from 2002 until 2006. Since 2008, and this has not been mentioned yet, we hold the power protection mandates between Georgia and Russia after the break of diplomatic relations. And we support financially the GID meetings that are regularly held in Geneva, that are a very important forum of interaction, bringing together all stakeholders of the conflict and international community. But also in the region, as an embassy, we are engaged in Abkhazia with humanitarian projects, with development projects, reinforcing especially the cooperation between the civil societies of both sides of the dividing line. And on the political diplomatic level, we facilitate several direct meetings between, for example, the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia regularly in Geneva or in Davos, and lately also between the ministers of foreign affairs of Georgia and Russia in New York. And I can assure you that Switzerland continues to be engaged as an impartial facilitator and force for sustainable peace in the region. So far, however, the conflict transformations in the region have not proven successful. And we are still rather stuck in conflict management. And it is becoming even more difficult since the conflicts have, besides their important local and regional dimension, become part of a wider geopolitical context, adding complexity. Today, we are especially concerned about the humanitarian situation for the most vulnerable people on the ground living close to the dividing lines. The situation has worsened with the COVID-19 crisis and needs to be addressed urgently, and we are working on it. In the framework of our promotion of peace and security, Switzerland advocates the comprehensive approach addressing the root causes of the conflicts, identifying areas of cooperation of mutual interest, and facilitating the interaction between different layers of society, of both sides of the dividing line. Peace has to grow from within the societies, where the understanding has to mature that the benefits of peaceful coexistence are higher than the consequences of confrontation and separation. This is a painful process for all stakeholders involved, and it needs a strong local ownership, it needs solid leadership skills, and it needs a dialogue on all possible levels. In my view, the program of the course is very rich, addressing many aspects of conflict transformation in a comprehensive way, and I'm sure it will prove beneficial for the participants. And maybe it might be an interesting start of a further development, and I rather see it as a beginning of a process, and I'm very much willing to remain engaged in this. So now let me wish you fruitful exchanges, lively discussions, and very rich takeaways from the course. And I very much look forward to host a reception for the participants at the Swiss residence in Tbilisi on Thursday evening. Thank you very much and have a successful course.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for this, which will soon round off our first opening session. And I think what our speakers really brought home very strongly to me is that we already have a very solid cooperation between Georgia and Switzerland on issues of peace and security, which of course this course can then build on, which is a wonderful departure for the next few days for us. And I also think from our perspective, why we think this course is particularly interesting, relevant, is of course Georgia brings to the table both the very high level of expertise already by the participants, but also the fact that Georgia is not only is a major contributor to UN peacekeeping and to peace processes and conflict resolutions in other places around the world as well as, of course, hosting some of the conflicts that need to be resolved. So you have a very broad spectrum of knowledge and expertise that we hope that through our collaboration, we can jointly also contribute a little bit to the further strengthening as you seek to resolve conflict both at home, but also elsewhere in the world as a contributor. With those concluding works, I wanted to thank everybody for joining the opening session, in particular our keynote speakers. I suggest we take, for the rest of us, since we are not only on time, we're ahead of time, which is a good thing since we're Swiss. We will take a short break and then come back. If you can please join us at in 15 minutes time, and then we'll start with the next session where we introduce the course methodology, aim and focus, and we want to really hear from you participants what you wish to take out of this week and bring with you as you move forward in your separate and individual careers. All right, thank you very much and see you all soon. Thank you.